Well, hello and welcome everybody to the New Health Conversation. And for the censors out there that monitor guidelines, community guidelines, we always tell you that the New Health Conversation, we only deal in medical facts. We deal with what's in the public domain that everybody can see it. Everything we talk about is safe, everything was vetted, everything has been proven. We've also written 4 best-selling books of some of the top medical doctors in the world. So we're either citing from these medical studies or we're studying from our own original research. So I'd always like to tell the censors that up in front. So hello and welcome everybody. Welcome for being here. Hello Crystal, hello user. Hello, Queen Trigger Fish. Hello, Malamamba. Hello, everybody. So right away, you're looking at that and going, that can't be safe. That's not possible. They photoshopped it. We didn't Photoshop a darn thing. He's an older guy. He definitely lost 10 pounds a week in 30 days. But the most impressive thing, look at his lab work. His A1C went from 8.4 to 6.4. His triglycerides from 242 to 124. That's in 30 days with no exercise. Now, let me show you this girl. This woman lost 21.2 pounds, 38.75 inches in 30 days. That's 5 pounds a week with no exercise. This is not a diet. It's not about counting calories, and it's backed up. We're very proud to say this just came out today on June 6th, Women's World, the #1 women's magazine in the world. These 2 women that you see on the cover, I coached them through this protocol. And you'll notice what they said here, over 50 protein miracle. That's what the magazine's calling it. That's not me saying that, that's them. There's a 2-page spread inside talking about this revolutionary new approach. Has nothing to do with calorie counting, has nothing to do with dieting, has nothing to do with exercise. It's completely novel approach. There are no products involved, it's foods, but very specific new food groups that these researchers, who are the top weight loss nutrition researchers in the entire world, they put this together. Not just for these 2 women right here that I did coach. The daughter is 57 years old. She lost 50 pounds in 90 days. The mom lost 90 pounds in 9 months. They both have kept it off for over 2 years. So again, if you think it's fake or you think it's not safe or you think any of that stuff, you need to lose. Look at that. The mom and daughter, you can read it there. They dropped 140 pounds. You can read it, I'm sure. They dropped 140 pounds together. They did it together. And they've kept it off for more than 2 years. So before you think this is fake or it's not real, look at this. You think you get on the cover of Women's World magazine if they didn't vet it and prove that it's 100% safe. And the article is also written by the top weight loss nutrition physiologists in the world. They're rated #1. I know this is going to shock all of you because you're so used to a pound a week and all that nonsense. We're going to prove to you today through medical proof, not opinions. We don't give people opinions. If you want an opinion, there's plenty of people on social media that can give you opinions. But I want all of you, first of all, to see some of the other before and afters, not just these 2 women that I coached. They weren't part of the medical studies, but they did exactly what they did in the medical studies to produce these. You can buy this issue today. It's on the newsstand. On Women's World. It came out today, June 6th. And find out 50 protein miracle is, although it's a little misleading because it's not just about protein, it's about a bunch of other things too, that I'm going to explain all of it to you today. So before I get into all that and explain to you exactly what they did, how they did it, etc., let's look at a couple more before and afters just so you understand. Julie lost 35 pounds in 37 days. 35 pounds in 37 days. So I mean, what do you even say about that? How do you even explain it, right? But look at from her neck, her shoulders, look at everything that is involved here, right? What is going on here? We're having trouble connecting to the internet, I guess. I'm not quite sure. Let's see. No, we're okay. Okay. So anyway, that's with no exercise whatsoever. And then this next before and after, this is from the daughter of a friend of mine. Now, you can think we photoshopped it. You can think it's a different woman. It's not a different woman. Wait till you see this, everybody. Do you think it's the same woman? 60 pounds in 3 months with no exercise. 60 pounds. I mean, is that just crazy? With no exercise? But look at her face. Look at her arms. Look at her midsection. You can think it's photoshopped all day long. It's not. I know this woman. And that picture is about 8 years old, and she's kept the weight off now for 8 years. All of these people that I'm showing you did, guess what the protocol is called? R2M. Race to maintenance. There's only well, there's a number of reasons to do this. One of the big reasons to do it is to be able to maintain. But I'd love for any of you to put in the chat, is it the same woman or is it a different woman, right? So user 418, Luger 22 Justine, Synergy, A Taste of the Sylvia, Cecilia, all these people coming on. I think Shred It Now is on there. Definitely different woman. No, Cecilia, you're completely 100% wrong. I love your opinion. It's great. That's the daughter of a friend of mine, okay? I mean, we're not, listen, Cecilia, sorry. You think you get on the cover of Women's World magazine if there's anything shady about what you're doing? These two women on the cover, I coached them. Now, all I can tell you is that the daughter, who's 57 years old, lost 50 pounds in 90 days, and the mom, who's 80 years old, 80, lost 91 pounds in 9 months, and they both kept it off now for close to it's more than 2 years. Can you imagine? So, Cecilia, I understand a lot of people think it's a different woman. It's not a different woman. It's the same exact woman. Yeah, I know. Cecilia, are you familiar with Women's World magazine? Because it's on this came out today, June 6th. And what do you mean, oh my God, you're still here? What are you talking about? What do you mean I'm still here? A ninja, are you one of my critics? Well, you're gonna be silenced now. This is on the cover of Women's World magazine. These are the people that I coached, etc. This is the #1 women's magazine in the entire world. You don't get on the cover. They wrote a 2-page article on this protocol proving that this is real, it absolutely works, etc. So any comments you might have, nice try, okay? So, yes, I am familiar. So again, Cecilia, you can actually go and you can buy this today because it came out today. It's on the Women's World. It's on the newsstand today. And I've had a lot of people that want to push back and critics and call me all kinds of names, but time to stop talking because it ain't bragging if you can back it up. I coached these two women. They're on the cover of Women's World magazine, which gives instant credibility. It's great, okay? Now, let's get into how in the world did they do what they're doing. Oh, no critics, just amazed. So Ninja, seriously, Ninja, what do you think about this? Do you understand this is the number one women's magazine in the world, And these are two of my friends. Well, they're my friends now. We coached them. Just like the picture you're looking at on screen, that's the daughter of a friend of mine. I physically know her. That really is real. She really lost 60 pounds in 3 months. So what do you think now, everybody? And on top of that, we have 10 peer-reviewed human trial medical studies that everybody, are you exiting or is exciting? I'm not quite sure which one that is. It's all good, whatever you're thinking, whatever you're doing, right? Now, what I'd like for someone to do for me, if you would be kind enough, for some reason, I can't type in the comments. Let's go back to the beginning, and I'm going to explain to you exactly what they did, how they did it, and why. For example, how in the world did they do this? Mom and daughter together lost 140 pounds. And you can see here she lost 21 pounds in a month and 38 inches. Okay, how? That's what I'm going to explain next. But what I'd like any of you to do, if you don't mind, even user 418, can you type in the comments for me the new health conversation? Now, why do I want you to do that? That's the free website where you can go and see the medical proof about how this did, because I'm going to explain to you now how she did it, how this picture works, okay? Okay, Cecilia, no spaces, just the new health conversation. Wow, thank you so much, Cecilia. That's really nice of you to do that. So let's talk, everybody, about how did they do this. So to give this context, the researchers who created this have no products to sell. There are no products involved here. This involves food. But the researchers who created this, well, let me tell you what they did. They spent 40 years of research, 100 studies, thousands of people, and proved to themselves anyway that diets are a miserable failure. Because even though people lost weight initially and all the diets they ever studied in 40 years, 2/3 of people gained back more weight than they lost, okay? So What's the problem? Why don't diets work? Well, the first problem is counting calories is just ridiculous. The human body has no idea what a calorie is. To prove it to you, I'd love for yes, Cecilia, perfect. You all see that there, the new health conversation? That's the free medical website where you can all go and see the medical proof. I want you to understand that, Cecilia, that website, we will not contact you, anybody. If you go there, we don't contact you. But what we do, we give you the ability to go see the medical proof. And if you like what you see, scroll down and get free coaching. Because what I'm going to explain to you next is not just the food, it's how you eat, when you eat, what you eat, etc. Invented by these incredible, the top weight loss nutrition physiologists in the world. So what's wrong with diets? Why do they fail? How come you've lost weight and gained it back, the famous yo-yo effect? It's real simple. Our body is set up on a minimum amount of nutrition that we need in order to run all our organs. Does everybody get this? Give me a yes. So that's the key. Your body doesn't run on calories. Your body doesn't know what a calorie is. You don't hunger for calories. You hunger for nutrition. So let's say you have a minimum, let's say, it's true. You have a minimum amount of nutrition that the brain is comfortable. It's enough for fuel to run all the organs, and then it continues to access the energy stored in your fat cells. But when you go on a diet, you're lowering the amount of food you're consuming. What else you're lowering, everybody? Nutrition. When the brain figures out there's not enough nutrition, it immediately goes into starvation mode because you are starving yourself from a nutritional standpoint of view. Nothing to do with calories. And when the brain senses that, it goes into shock, it stops you from accessing the fuel in your fat cells because that's the emergency. This is an emergency as far as the brain's concerned. What does it do? It goes to your muscles and begins to use your muscles for fuel. And as the muscles begin to be less and less, the body doesn't have a choice. It's a brain. It slows down your metabolism. That's why you're plateauing these stupid diets. That's why you come off these diets and you gain everything. You gain more than you lost. Is anybody telling you this? Are they being honest with you and telling you what's really going on inside your body with calories in, calories out, total rubbish, total nonsense? No. But not only does it slow down your metabolism, when you begin to lose lean muscle, what else does it do to you? It slows down your own immune system. Do you understand you're making yourself unhealthy on any of these diets you're on because you're losing 25 to 40% of what you're losing is lean muscle mass? That's not an opinion on my part. That's what the research is saying. Yeah, you're losing weight, great. 25 to 40% is lean muscle mass, and that's why you ultimately plateau and then you come off the diet and you get everything back. So the research said, the heck with that. We need to find foods, first and foremost, that if we're going to give you less food, we got to find foods that have more nutrition. I'll give you an example. Let's say you could go today and fill up at a gas station. There are only 2 pumps. Pump number 1 says, one gallon will take you 20 miles. But pump number 2 says, this gallon will take you 100 miles. That's basically what the researchers set out to do and prove, although it was a theory. So how did they do it? First of all, the researchers put together a grocery list of what she consumed, but only 30% of what she consumed came from the list that you go to your grocery store, organic foods, proteins, fats, carbs, vegetables, and fruit. But instead of giving her calorie counts, they gave her for the first time serving sizes. Very important. Okay? So not only did she get what kinds of food to buy, but she got the amounts from a serving size, not from calories. What about the other 70% of the food she needed for a whole month to eat? Because at the end of the day, that's what you're doing. This protocol is about eating food, okay? But different foods than the combinations you're doing today. The other 70% came from other researchers. See, these researchers who created this, they don't have any products. They don't have a company. They don't sell anything. We don't sell anything to you. But you get to buy 70% of your food directly from these suppliers. Now, why is that so special? Because those suppliers went around the world in the last 20 years and located areas on the globe like in Russia, in Mongolia, in Tibet, in the Himalayas, literally in Tibet, in South America, New Zealand, where they found foods that had huge amounts of nutrition, but small quantities of food. In other words, you weren't going to get 20 miles to the gallon, you're going to get 100 miles to the gallon. Does this make sense to everybody? So 30% of your food from the grocery store, 70% from these exotic foods around the world. Now, what's neat about it, you get to buy directly from those suppliers. So people are always concerned about the cost. You're going to spend about what you spent last month total on food, because only 30% you're going to buy this month and 70% from these foods. Now, so now they had let's call it the ingredients. Well, if you're going to make something, what do you need next? A recipe. So that's what these researchers did. They created two completely different ways for you to consume food. 5 days a week, listen to this. You have 4 meals a day. What? I thought I was on a diet. No, you're not on a diet. They started the day with these exotic foods around the world. That was breakfast for her and everybody else. Lunch from the grocery store list, dinner from the grocery store list, so that's 3 meals, and then a 4th meal after dinner from these exotic foods around the world. So you got it? 5 days a week, 4 meals a day. That's called protein pacing. It's actually patented by the researchers. So they don't have any. So what's their goal? And they're getting the accolades for discovering the secret to weight loss. Okay? So 5 days a week, having 4 meals a day. 5 days a week, 4 meals a day. And 2 days a week, you're having no food from the grocery store. What? Yeah, because you're going to do something called intermittent nutritional fasting. Not fasting, not water fasting, not time-restricted eating. No. This time, instead of having food from your grocery store, you're only having these exotic foods, but then they gave it to her 8 times a day. What? Did you hear what I said? I didn't misspeak. She ate 8 times a day. She was eating about every hour and a half. Only these foods from exotic foods from around the world. Well, look at the results. That's not Photoshop. She lost 21.8 pounds at 21.2, 38.75 inches a month, and she only wanted to lose about 35 pounds. Look at her stomach, everybody. I'm going to explain that to you in a moment. Look at day 1, look at day 30. No exercise, no sit-ups, no crunches, nothing. She and everybody else wore Fitbits to prove to the researchers they weren't exercising, and not that the researchers were against exercise. But in this particular case, they wanted to prove that this would work with no exercise. Otherwise, she said, well, she lost weight because it was diet and exercise. No exercise allowed. Does that blow you away, everybody? What do you think? I'd love for some comments. User 1927, whatever. We've also got Kiss 333. We got, Danelle's on here. Good. Hi, Danelle. We have lots of people on here. SJ, love. Now, before you think it's unsafe, you're wrong. And the reason I can say that is we have 10 peer-reviewed human trial studies that prove that it's safe. This is what the researchers invented and got published in the 10 biggest medical journals pretty much in the world. Do you understand how huge this is? And if that's not good enough, as of June 6th, today, look at this, the cover of Women's World magazine. These 2 women I coached. They're my friends. The daughter is 57 years old. She's a nurse. She lost 50 pounds in 90 days. Her mother on the left there, I think it's your left, well, she's in pink or whatever. You can see her. She's 80 years old. She lost 91 pounds in 9 months, and they both have kept it off for 2 years. Look at the title from the magazine, Over 50 Protein Miracle. Well, it wasn't just about protein. There's more involved in that, but you get the gist. The magazine, they were completely blown away. There's a 2-page article on them inside the magazine. All of you, I would encourage you, go buy it today and see for yourself. You understand, you don't get on the cover of Women's World magazine if you're, as people have called me, they've called me a lot of names. They call me, grifter, BS, all kinds. Well, they can't say that anymore. They never really could. Because now not only do we have 10 peer-reviewed human trial studies, but now the cover of Women's World, the #1 women's magazine in the world, do you think, let me ask all of you, do you think this is real? I mean, I guess, I don't know, I wouldn't know how to Photoshop the cover of Women's World, plus I'd get sued like crazy. It's on the newsstand today, you all can go see it. And then you look at Kristen, 21.2 pounds, 38 inches in a month. Do you think that's fake? Now, let's look at Julie here, everybody. Hold on. How about Julie, everybody? 35 pounds in 37 days. A lot of people think that's a different woman. Well, it looks like it. Did she get it? Did she go find a new body? I mean, look at that, her neck. Look at her stomach area. Look at how much she shrank and her legs. I'm going to explain to you how in the world is that happening with no loose skin. Well, the researchers measured it. First of all, they measured water. She lost no water weight. And instead of losing any lean muscle, zero, she gained 6 to 9% lean muscle with no exercise allowed. And then this is the one for sure. I just had someone a minute ago initially say it's not the same woman, but this is the daughter of a friend of mine. Because you're going to think it's a different woman. How about 60 pounds in 3 months? 60! That's 5 pounds a week for 3 months. Look at her face, look at her arms, look at her stomach. I would bet you think it's a different woman. It's not a different woman. Danelle, do me a favor and type in the chat for me, the new health conversation, because for some reason I can't enter it, and on this particular display, it's not on there, which normally it is. So Danielle, just type in for me the new health, because what she's going to type in for all of you is the medical website where you can go and see the medical proof free. We will not contact you, but if you want the medical proof, you can go there. And if you like what you see, scroll down and get a free coach. The coaching is free, everybody, free. I have people telling me, how much is the consultation? It's like, oh my gosh, are we that skeptical? No, the coaching is 100% free. As a matter of fact, Danelle is one of our unbelievably fabulous coaches who was an exercise physiologist and a bunch of other things. I mean, she's a health professional. And she had her own transformation, which is pretty unbelievable as it stands. Now, I want to show you one. We're going to go back and look at the first picture. So Curtis, an older gentleman, okay, 40 pounds in 30 days, no photoshopping. And that's not the best part. His stomach, look at his stomach, how much that went down. But look at his blood work, his lab work. His A1C went from 8.4 to 6.4. His triglycerides from 242 to 124. You think, I guess you could think I'm lying, or we're lying, or we don't have to do that, though. We don't have to do it, because if you go to the website, you'll see those blood pressure, blood sugar, triglycerides. All these things came down dramatically. Do you know that people in the first month, their hunger came down 41%? And in a couple weeks, the desire to eat, called cravings, went down 40%. Do you know, in first time in history, they measured inflammation, which we all suffer from, in case you didn't know. It went down 25% in a month. No one's ever seen it. Listen, most women lost a whole dress size in the first week. Men lost about 4 inches off their waist in 30 days with no exercise allowed. Well, you can see how much he shrank. I know it sounds too good to be true to everybody, but what do you all think? I'd love for anybody to put a comment. What do you think? User G or Calorie Love or Jesse or Elena or Josie. Seriously, what do you think? And again, let's go back and look at my son's daughter. Is that the same woman? I'm going to ask all of you. Is it the same woman? Are we lying to you? Is it fake? Is it AI? Is it Photoshop? Please, someone tell me. Well, I already went over that, user 418, but I'm going to do it again. I promise you. Just give me 1 second, okay? So user 418, if you don't mind, is it the same girl? Is it the same woman? Not girl, woman. Say hi to Michael. Hello, Michael. So again, Danelle, can you type in the comment section the new health conversation for me? Because I can't do it for some reason on my end. So what I'm telling you all, there's a free medical website. So it's user 418 that you can go to. It's called the new health conversation. We will not contact you if you go there. What's there? The medical proof, the medical thing, an interview with the #1 weight loss nutrition physiologist in the world, who in the interview says the top weight loss researchers in the world, they said they will never put their patients on a normal, any kind of diet ever again because of this discovery that they did. Good, user 418. Okay, we're making some progress. Okay, now everybody wants to know, or at least a lot of you want to know, let's go back to the basics, to Kristen. So how in the world did she lose 5 pounds a week, day 1, day 30? Number one, she wasn't on a diet. Number two, she didn't count calories. Okay, I'm still waiting all this time, okay, for someone to give me the definition of a calorie. Now, don't get mad at me because you're all on diet, some form of dieting where you're counting calories, and it's the most ridiculous thing on earth. Your body has no idea what a calorie is. We've been duped into this calorie counting nonsense. So what the researchers did after 40 years, 100 studied, thousands of people, they figured out diets just don't work. So what they concentrated on was one simple thing: nutrition. Now, this is not supplements, lotions, potions, pills. This is from food, okay? So what they did was they said, when you go on a diet, which they'd put more than thousands of people on, you lower the amount of food you consume. That's any diet, okay? You might call it calorie counter, but it's really not. What you're really reducing is nutrition. The problem with that, when your brain figures out there's not enough nutrition, it panics, goes in starvation mode because you are starving nutritionally, okay? And stops you from accessing the fuel stored in your fat cells and turns to your muscles for fuel, doing two of the most unhealthy things to you. One, it slows down your metabolism. It's not up for debate. They know in all the studies, 25 to 40% of what you're losing in any of these silly diets is lean muscle mass. I'll show you the medical proof here in just a couple moments. And when that happens, not only does it slow down your metabolism, but it slows down your immune system. You're making yourself unhealthy by going on these diets, by counting calories and losing lean muscle mass. Sorry to tell you that. That is the medical reality. So the researchers said, wait a minute, we got to have a new approach. They set out to put food groups together that would give you less food by quantity, but increase nutrition. I used the example a few minutes ago. Let me use it again. Let's say you went to fill up today at the gas station. There were only 2 pumps. Pump number 1, the sign says, this gallon will take you 20 miles. That's even the organic food you're doing today, because our food in North America is all but nutritionally bankrupt, just in case you didn't know. But pump number 2 says, this gallon will take you 100 miles. That's what the researchers set out to do. So how did they do it? First, they gave her only 30% of the food that she consumed came from the grocery store, which included proteins, fats, carbs, vegetables, and fruits. But instead of giving her calorie amounts, they gave her serving sizes. So step 1, 30% of what she consumed, or what you would get, you'd buy from your grocery store. You don't buy anything from the researchers. You don't buy anything from us. The researchers, they don't have a company. They're scientists. They don't do that. But what they did do, they found other researchers who for over 20 years had gone around the world, literally gone physically to Russia, to Mongolia, to Tibet in the Himalayas, South America, New Zealand, to bring back these foods or nutrients that came from around the world that represented huge amounts of nutrition, but very small quantities of food from a bulk standpoint of view. Does everyone understand that? Do you get it so far? Let me review. So 30% of what she consumed and what you would consume, you get a grocery list from the grocery store that the researchers, not us, we had nothing to do with this. They're the top nutrition research physiologists in the world, so I'm going to kind of listen to them. And the other 70%, they isolated these food groups from around the world. So now they had the ingredients, she and everybody else. Now watch this, everybody. Because of these food groups, there was a completely new way of consuming food that had never been tried before. 5 days a week, they did something called protein pacing, which is now patented. It's a patent by the U.S. Patent Office. Big deal that these researchers that they discovered it. So 5 days a week, what she was doing, they had 4 meals a day. They started with these these incredible foods from around the world. No food from the grocery store. Lunch from the grocery store, dinner from the grocery store, and a 4th meal, these exotic foods from around the world. So 5 days a week, they were having 4 meals a day. Got it? That's called protein pacing. 2 days a week, now this will spin all of you out of control, but listen to me carefully. She did, and everybody did, intermittent, this is a brand new concept, intermittent nutritional fasting. Not fasting though, not water fasting, not time restricted eating. Because on those days, no food at all from the grocery store, only these exotic foods from around the world, but they had her eating 8 times a day. Yep, so she was eating about every hour and a half. Diabetics thrive, they did fantastic on this. As a matter of fact, insulin in the diabetics that were measured in the studies came down 41% in a month. That's never been seen before on any diet ever. This isn't a diet. So essentially what happened, and in the studies they proved it, people's hunger came down 41% in 30 days. Well, it makes sense because people were getting what the body wants and needs. It doesn't give a damn about a calorie. It doesn't know what a calorie is, but it does know what nutrition is. Am I making sense to everybody? Do you understand this? Please give me a yes or no, or do I need to? She just curled her hair. Okay, who else would like to? Let's see. I'm just looking at Apple Jacks and Jeanette and 40-ish. joined is RLS. Wow, I'm tripping over my words today. So did everybody get a chance to hear that explanation of how she did this? It's not a diet, everybody. It's not about counting calories, okay? Now, the key to this is, I'm going to try to put it in the chat and see if you all can read it, because I was having trouble with this before. The new health, hold on, health conversation. So I just typed something in the chat under Preston Cook or Island Lady. Can you all see that or not? The new health conversation. Can somebody give me a yes or no? Let me know if you can read right under Island Lady. I wrote in the new health conversation. Brandy, I'm saying hi. Can you see right above your name there, the new health conversation? I need to know if people are able to see it. If not, the website, you all know, okay. So the website that's free to go to, we will not contact you. It's called the New Health Conversation. Let me repeat it again. The website, the new, N-E-W, health, H-A-L-T-H, conversation. When you go there, we won't contact you. We don't need to, because what's there are the medical studies that you can see for yourself with the breakdown. And an interview, the most important part is an interview, actually a podcast with the #1 weight loss nutrition physiologist in the world for over 40 years. He and his team, they're the ones that invented this, not me. So, Marco, does that make sense? Do you get it? The new health conversation. And I was hoping that some of my followers would type that in for me. I mean, Marco, if you could do that, it would be great. So the new health conversation, no spaces. But if anybody could type that in for me, then everybody can see it in the chat. I don't know why, I guess as me as the host of the podcast, I guess I can't make comments, I guess, to myself. I don't know what the limitation is, but that's obviously pretty important. Because I want all of you to feel comfortable that you can go to the website, you can see the medical proof, and we will not contact you. We don't do that. We don't need to. We're the only people on all of social media, at least from what I can see, that have peer-reviewed human trial medical studies, okay? Now, let's talk about, for example, the loss of lean muscle mass. Now, to do that, I want to show you, this is the New England Journal of Medicine. You all can get this study. It's in the public domain. So again, the censors were just reading from the studies. The New England Journal of Medicine, once weekly, semaglutide in adults with overweight obesity. It's in the public domain. You all can search it. Now, we're not against the shots. Let's be clear. We are not, because they're helping diabetics and they're helping people that are morbidly obese. But this study was 68 weeks long. That's a year and 4 months. And here's what they found in the study. Number one, that weight loss after 68 weeks was 32 pounds. And right in the study, of the 32 pounds people lost, 40% was lean muscle mass. And of course, they went on to say that these results are clinically relevant reductions in body weight. Really? She didn't get the memo, because I don't think she wants to wait 68. Well, she actually had about 35 pounds to lose. And what I understand, in about 7 weeks, she ended up losing 35 pounds, kind of like what Julie showed you. Now, why is that occurring? Because the shot, you know why it works? It slows down the food moving through your digestive tract. Okay, so you're full longer, but what are you lacking? Of course, nutrition. You're eating less food. That's the definition of a diet. You're getting less food, you're getting less nutrition, and that's triggering. Look, this is the medical proof, everybody. I'm not making this up. This is the New England Journal of Medicine, up to, well, not up to, 40% of what they lost in 68 weeks was lean muscle mass. What, do you think you're exempt from this? But there's a lot more evidence backing all of this up. Let's look at Medicare. Listen to this, everybody. This is Medicare trying to bring their healthcare costs down, right? Medicare's search for effective obesity treatments. Diets are not the answer. The Medicare researchers studies of long-term outcomes of calorie-restricted, calories in, calories out diets to assess whether these diets are an effective treatment for obesity. The researchers found that 2/3 of dieters regained more weight than they lost on any diet. In summary, there's little support for the notion that diets lead to lasting weight loss or health benefits. What are you all doing? What are you doing? I'd love to, Yes, Marco, thank you. New, oh, you forgot the. It's the in front of new, Marco. The new health conversation. That's why I wanted people to type it out. So please, you got it perfect. Just do. So Emmy, so what should I do? You want to go to this website that hopefully Marco's going to type in for me, the new health conversation. Emmy, did you hear the explanation of how she did this? And Emmy, how much weight do you want to lose? And if you were going to lose 20 pounds, how long on any diet you've ever been on or know about would you? Perfect. Marco, thank you so much. Oh no, you spelled new wrong. It's N-E-W. Sorry, Marco, you had NRW, and it needs an E. The new health conversation. Sorry. Emmy, 7 kilograms. Okay, so that's 14 pounds. Easily, Emmy, how excited would you be if you could lose that in 3 weeks, let's say? No question, with no exercise at all. How much would that excite you? Tell me, put it in the chart. Yeah, so, excuse me, we're having a little, very excited. Okay. So, Emmy, did you listen to the explanation of how she lost? In that case, that's 10 kilos in 30 days. So she lost more than what you want to lose. But it's not a diet. It doesn't work like that. So, yes, you heard me say it or no? No, I didn't hear it. Okay, I'm going to explain it to you in just perfect, Marco. The new health conversation. Okay, Marco, thanks for being such a great sport. Because it's weird. It's weird. I don't know. Maybe you more know about. Look, I'm a scientist. This whole social media thing, thank goodness, because Marco and everybody else, and I'm going to explain to you, Emmy, in just a moment. But I had done 1,500 live lectures around the world before COVID. And when COVID hit, that all stopped. And it's never come back. So this, thank goodness for social media, thank God for TikTok. It's really because we're going all over the world. We got people, I had someone today in Germany, we got people in the UK. Right now, yeah, we got people in Melbourne and Sydney that are tuning in, I know, because we have them that are, no, thanks, Marco. So Marco, did you get to hear the explanation? Because I'm going to explain it to Emmy right now. So Emmy, just a warning, Marco, I don't want to bore you, but it's important that everybody understands. So Emmy, what she did was invented by the top weight loss, nutrition physiologists in the world for 40 years, 100 studies, thousands of people. They determined why diets don't work, Emmy. Here's why. Emmy, any diet you've ever been on, again, if you don't mind. Oh, okay, go ahead. All right, I'm going to do it. So would Marco or Emmy or anybody else agree that pretty much all the diets, they tell you it's some form of calorie reduction, calories in, calories out? Does everybody agree with that? Because the problem with that, it's a big problem because of the fact that I can't get anybody even to tell me the definition of a calorie. Now, I know it now. I didn't know it 23 years ago. So again, Emmy or Marco or anybody that's doing this, you're counting calories for what reason? Your body has no idea. If you could have a conversation with your body, for example, Emmy, I know that sounds crazy, right? And you say to your body, hey, we're going to go on a diet. I'm going to cut down to 1,500 calories a day. What do you think your body would say? You know what your body would say? What the heck's a calorie? It has no idea what calories are. How we got into this obsession on this calorie counting, I don't know. Now let's look at a new definition that the researchers figured out. They said, okay, we're getting away from calories altogether. We're going to concentrate on the only thing our body cares about, Emmy and Marco, etc., is we have a minimum amount of nutrition that we need, not calories. That nutrition allows your brain to determine there's enough fuel to run the brain, the heart, the lungs, the kidneys. In other words, all our organs run on what? Nutrition, not on calories. So when you go on a diet and you lower the quantity of food you're consuming, because that's all you're doing, you're lowering the amount of nutrition, which triggers the starvation mode in the brain. The brain then immediately shuts off accessing your fuel in your fat cells and turns to your muscles for fuel. And then as the muscles begin to be used up to fuel the body, the brain doesn't have a choice. It slows down metabolism. That's why you plateau on these stupid diets. And then when you come off the diet, you'll gain everything back. But worse, when you lose lean muscle, it's not up for debate. We know it for a fact. You also slow down your own immune system. That's why, for example, in cancer patients, one of the worst things that happens is they lose weight, not that they can avoid it, but the weight they're losing, the great majority is lean muscle mass, which actually slows down your immune system. So the researchers said, we need to change things. We need to come up with foods that have large amounts of nutrition despite less quantity of the food. So Emmy and Marco, this is what they did. They created a grocery list. Now, keep in mind for everybody, including Marco and Emmy, that these researchers, they had no agenda. They don't have any products. They don't make anything. They don't have a company. They're just researchers. So they basically put together a food list they created that you would take to your grocery store, wherever you live in the world. And it would include proteins, fats, carbs, vegetables, and fruits. But a very important point for everybody is it wasn't about the number of calories, okay? It was about the amount of nutrition. Emmy or Marco, please put a yes if you get this. Captain Brunch and Connie Shields, you're all here. I just want to make sure, because I'll take as much time as possible, because there's nothing like this on the planet. This is going to change the world. That's a big statement, but it really is. And that's been from some of the top obesity experts in the world that looked at this and looked at these studies and said, you're going to change the world. So that's not my opinion, okay? But, okay, Marco and Emmy, it says yes. All right, so what did the researchers do? They organized the serving sizes, not calories, of proteins, fats, carbs, vegetables, and fruits. They picked them out, okay? Organic, but only 30% of what she consumed, or 30%. If you did this, Emmy or Marco or anybody else, that's what you'd buy from the grocery store. Here's the list. The other 70%, this was critically important. The researchers found other researchers who for 20 some years had gone around the world to like Russia, physically went to Mongolia, physically went to the side of the Himalayas, physically went to New Zealand, physically went to South America. And those researchers, not the ones that created this, found these foods with huge amounts of nutrition, but small amounts of quantity. And some of the nutrients that they brought in these foods that you would consume come from regions where people are living to be 100 years old and they don't get sick. And that's what I want to be taking, right? So we got it now, 30% from the grocery store, your list, and the other 70% from these foods around the world. And then they now had complete new options as far as consumption. So let's call it the recipe, for lack of a better term. They created two complete new ways of consuming food. So they took a week and they took 5 of the days to do what's called protein pacing. What does that mean? It means this. They had the people start with the exotic foods around the world, lunch from the grocery store list, dinner from the grocery store list, and a fourth meal from these exotic foods around the world. So 5 days out of 7, she and you you'd be having 4 meals a day. Unheard of on diets. Unheard of on diets, right? 2 days a week, wait till you hear this. No food from the grocery store. What? No. Because they were doing something called intermittent nutritional fasting. Not fasting, not water fasting, not time-restricted eating. On those days, like I said, nothing from your grocery store, only these exotic foods. And listen to this, they had her eating 8 times a day. What? That's why it's nutritional fasting. But the key was she had very small quantities of food, but huge amounts of nutrition. That's why it worked. Are you all familiar with the term? Maybe you are, maybe you're not, but I'll explain it to you anyway. So last night when you all went to sleep, or tonight if some of you are going to sleep, because I know in England and stuff it's like midnight, but when you go to sleep, what your body does, when you go to sleep, your body slows down your digestion, and it automatically, without you doing anything, begins a detox process. It's called autophagy. It's when the body gets rid of basically the dead cells and all the garbage that we've accumulated over the course of a day. Well, the researchers, what they proved, and they did blood, stool, urine, and fat analysis, that in essence, they recreated autophagy when on these intermittent nutritional fasting days, because they've got the medical proof through the blood, stool, urine, and fat analysis that this protocol was helping remove chemicals from the body. Now let's take a pause for a moment, because I want to give you another reason why so many people are overweight in the world, and it's not just lack of nutrition and lack of great food. It's because of this new medical syndrome. It's called TDOS. So Marco and Emmy and Connie and Brandy and every one of us, and Gypsy and Jean, you all have this, me included. What the heck does it mean? Well, the T is for toxins. The D is for the nutritional deficiency that doesn't allow our body to get to assist in getting the chemicals out, causing us to gain weight and stress. It's a registered trademark, U.S. Patent Office. I did discover it, Peter Greenlaw. Now, what's so amazing about this wasn't until 2005, okay, 2 years after I actually started, where they did the first study on humans. We were storing chemicals in our body. That was done by Mount Sinai Medical School in New York. That's the first time ever they realized we were storing chemicals in our body. Now, let me explain to you what goes on. So it's unavoidable, by the way. We're drinking, we're breathing, we're eating chemicals, whether you know it or not. We're now breathing in, depending on where you live. If it's the United States, from 2 weeks ago, the coal-fired power plants in China, the cadmium and the mercury, we're breathing it in right now. Well, what our body does to protect us from these, this is why diets can't work long term. As we ingest these chemicals from any of these sources, the body first presents them to our livers. Right now, 25 to 30% of you have non-alcoholic fatty liver disease, and it doesn't manifest symptoms for a long time. This is not me making this up. This is from Dr. Lustig at Stanford University, brilliant medical doctor. He said those are the numbers, so I'm going with his numbers. Now, so what the body does, once the liver can no longer handle the chemicals, that's what's causing the non-alcoholic fatty liver disease. Your liver shouldn't have any fat in it at all. But the liver, in order to deal with the chemical, because it can't process it, it enrobes the chemical in fat cells. That's where the term non-alcoholic fatty liver disease comes from. But then, once the liver can't handle it anymore, as the toxins come in, the body has one last shot. It takes that chemical and stuffs it inside your visceral fat. See, don't let anybody tell you that you ever burn fat. That's a complete lie. You're born with a certain number of fat cells. You die with I don't care how much you think you're riding a bike on the treadmill, you're burning fat. No, total nonsense. It's not a medical thing that happens. Now, your fat cells can either expand or they can shrink, but that's the only thing that occurs. The only way you could lower fat cells is liposuction or with surgery, just so you know. So what our body's doing is to protect us, and the only way it knows how, it's storing those chemicals inside the fat cells. Look at her stomach on day 1, everybody, and then look at her stomach on day 30. She was detoxing. It's not just about the weight that she's losing, it's the kind of weight she's losing. And it's also the fact she lost no lean muscle mass. She gained 6 to 9% lean muscle, lost no water weight. I know this sounds like science fiction to you, but this is really what's going on. Now, what's interesting is the first studies ever done on the storage of chemicals in our body was done in 2005 by Mount Sinai Medical School. Well, now, 20 years later, they've done about 1,000 studies. Let me read you the latest, and this will give you some inkling about why your no diet up until now has ever dealt with these toxins. Never. Paleo, keto, none, zero. But these researchers proved that this protocol was helping you. Well, and that's why the people shrank. So when you look at someone like Julie, let me show you her real quick, and then I'll continue. 35 pounds in 37 days. Look at her body. Look at how much she shrank. That's from the detox. You can't make that up. As a matter of fact, when people do this, guess what? The coaches don't just have you weigh yourself. Listen to this. You measure from your neck to your ankles, because as those inches go down, it's proving to you you're detoxing your body. You saw Kristen, they did that with her. Hold on, just let me find it. So when they say 38.75 inches, that's the measuring points throughout her body. But it's detoxing. But let me explain to you why. Pay attention. This could change the rest of your life. The Endocrine Society, the largest organization of experts devoted to the research on hormones and the clinical practice of endocrinology, reports that the rise in the incidence in obesity matches the rise in the use and distribution of industrialized chemicals. They give these chemicals a name. They call them obesogens. They go on to say obesogens. Simply put, obesogens are chemicals that disrupt the function of our hormonal system, leading to weight gain and many of the diseases that curse the American populace. They enter our body from a variety of sources, from natural compounds in soy, hormones fed to animals, plastics in food packaging, and chemicals added to processed food and pesticides sprayed in our produce. They act in a variety of ways mimicking human hormones such as estrogen, are you listening, ladies? And blocking the action of other hormones such as testosterone, are you listening, men? And essentially reprogram us to gain weight. What are you doing about obesogens? Because it ain't counting calories that's going to work. We're in a crisis. I mean, Johns Hopkins Medical School, they said, study predicts obesity apocalypse by 2030. 86% of Americans are going to be overweight or obese in 4.5 years. Does that sound to you like what the heck we're doing is working? That's why Medicare, they're trying to find a solution, but they're looking in the wrong place. Because what we're now facing, let me read to you from one of the experts in the world on toxins. Her name is Dr. Paula Bailey Hamilton, all right? Paula Bailey Hamilton is considered to be one of the world's leading authorities on toxic chemicals and their effects on your health. Listen, she believes what appears to be happening is that our natural slimming system is being poisoned by toxic chemicals we encounter in our everyday lives, and this damage is making it increasingly difficult for our bodies to control their weight. The end result is that we gain weight in the form of fat, not muscle, as chemicals tend to cause muscles to shrink and body fat to expand. This is a leading expert. Well, guess what? You're in luck, because in the studies, which I have right here, they proved that this is removing chemicals from the body. Now, obviously not all of them, and not in 2 weeks or in a month, whatever. But that's why you're seeing this significant. That's why the researchers set it up where they had people measure themselves, because it was a non-invasive way. Because the researchers, they were measuring blood, stool, urine, and fat analysis. But if you're just a normal person out in the world, you want to have an indication, is this really working? See, the number on the scale is really one of the least important factors in this. But I mean, obviously, you're going to be excited. I mean, who wouldn't be? Put it in the chat. If you can safely lose 21 pounds, 5 pounds a week in a month with no exercise, would that excite you all? So is this making sense to everybody? So we got lots of new people. Southern Girl, we got Kelly, we got Dim Makes, we got Captain Brunch, we got Coach Ty, we got JoJo Jeanette, we got Brooke, we got User, Margie Schiller, love it. Okay, Margie, Marco, would you do me a favor, because we're getting so many people jumping on here. Can you please put in the comment for me again, the new health conversation? Margie, what I'm doing, this is the website we created, free to go to. We will not contact you. It has the medical proof behind everything I've been talking about, and including proving or an interview with the #1 weight loss nutrition physiologist in the world, who he and his team created this. They don't have any products. There are no products. This is based on new food groups that these researchers put together, and there are the results. See, wonderful, Marco. Thank you. See, everybody, the new health conversation that Margie or anybody, or user 710 or Brooke or JoJo, you can go to that website free of charge. Now, let me show you something else, everybody. This is really exciting, at least for me. This came out today, June 6, 2025. These two women are on the cover of Women's World. It's the #1 women's magazine in the entire world. I coach these two women. It's a mom and a daughter. The daughter is 57. She lost 50 pounds in 3 months. The mom, who is 80 years old, lost 91 pounds in 9 months, and they've both kept it off now for almost 2 years. Well, more than 2 years, actually. And look, we didn't write the title. The magazine did this. Over 50 protein miracle. Now, it's a little misleading because it's not really just about protein. It's about a whole bunch of other things. But do you all understand from a credibility standpoint of view that this 2 full-page article inside writing about, and they're saying, essentially, why would you ever go on a diet again if you could do this, which is safe? It's backed by 10 peer-reviewed human trial studies, and you can see the studies on that website, Margie. Do you see it there, Margie? The new health conversation. Give me a yes if you see it. I want all of you to understand, everybody on here. And look, we're at 1,200 likes. Can we get some more taps on that screen? Let's get those likes way up there, unless you don't like this content. But here's what we're doing. We're being square and honest with you, even to the point where we give you a free website. But beyond that, Margie, If you go there and you like what you see on the website, for any of you, you can scroll down and get a free coach. No kidding, a free coach the whole time, not just initially, not just to get the weight off you, but show you how to maintain it. Look, Margie and Marco, I lost 40 pounds in 7 weeks 23 years ago. I've kept it off for 23 years. I went from a 42 to a 34-inch pair of jeans. I'm in 34-inch jeans today as I sit here, 23 years later. Can't believe it's 23 years, but it is. But do you understand? Margie, are you familiar with this magazine, Women's World? It's on the newsstand today. You can go buy a copy. I don't want you to have to believe me. But I coach these two women. They're my friends. Look at them. The mom is going like, oh my God, at 80 years old, I'm on the cover of a magazine. That's amazing. Well, they did the work. I mean, they followed the protocol. And I mean, it's just so cool that this is real, everybody. I mean, they even said, backed by 10 studies, powerful new eating pattern can take off weight faster than anything else you've tried. That's on, I don't know if you all can read that. Do you see that? Powerful new eating pattern can take off weight faster than anything else you've tried. That's the magazine writing that. That's not us, because they met them, and they met the researcher who is head of this team that created this. They interviewed him. And he said after 40 years, basically, they'll never recommend any form of any kind of diet ever again. Why are you all excited? Are you like thrilled? Are you like, wow, this is amazing? Oh, you are, Margie, you're excited. So Margie, what would you hope this could do for you, if you don't mind, if you want to be open about it? I mean, look, we're this movement, which it is, this movement is incredibly important, the New Health Conversation. We, on Thursday nights, we do a results where people come on and they just tell their stories from all over the world, what happened to them. Last night, we had a young mother whose son was born. For some reason, she had real problem with malnutrition. The mother did. So much so that they had to do a cesarean at 8 months, or they were fearful the baby was going to die of malnutrition. So the pediatrician put them on, I'm not going to mention commercial names, but you can imagine what they put the baby on. Well, see, this is what's so amazing about this. It's not a diet, okay? But this intense, incredibly dense food, one of the food groups that the people consumed, they started giving it to the baby. I think he's 14 months now. Now, this may not seem big to you. In 2 weeks, he's now gained almost more than a half a pound. The pediatrician's like flipping out, going, what in the heck are you doing? This is not a diet, everybody. So now in that case, we got kids as young as 14 months. My own grandson started on part of this when he was 14 months, as soon as his mom stopped breastfeeding. Because again, what do we need for a child, especially nourishment? But what kind of nourishment? Nutrition. They don't need calories. That's the problem with so many of these formulas that you see. Look at the amount of sugar in these things. That's not going to build muscle in the body. So this is so much more than losing weight. That's what I keep trying to tell all of you. Lose and maintain my weight. I was on this diet with fruit and a lot of veg. I love vegetables and fruit, so it did work. But then you gained all the weight back, am I right? But you got to understand you still didn't have everything you needed because you needed amino acids. Sorry to tell you that. So let's look at, but look at this, Margie, look at this young woman. I know her. This is the daughter of a friend of mine. 60 pounds in 3 months. Look at her. Look at her arms. Look at her face. Look at her body. Margie, look at that. Is that crazy? And you're saying, yes, you gained all the weight back. I'm not surprised. Because they already said 2/3 of people that go on any diet are gaining more weight than they lost. So I'm not shocked, because you still were on a diet. Think about it this way. Yeah, look at that, Margie. What do you think about that? Margie, look at her face. Look at her arms. Look, it looks like does it not look like a different woman? Margie, does it not? All the rest of you, please, somebody else comment. We're only at 1,300 likes. Can we get some more taps and get those likes up? You all should be excited about, listen, women, you should be really excited that look at them. They're paving the way. They're making it possible for everybody to really believe there's something. finally, that's going to break the obesity code. It's going to break the obesity lockup. I mean, do you understand what they're doing for you and everybody? I mean, I'm proud because I did coach them. I did. And see, that's one of the most important parts. If you do this, you do get a coach for free. No kidding. Because we're not selling you anything. The research is not selling you anything. You're buying 30% of your food from the grocery store, and you're buying 70% of your food from these other suppliers. Because people ask me all the time, oh, how expensive is this? You're going to spend about what you spent last month total on food. But you can't buy food. You can't buy those unless you want to go to Russia or Mongolia or climb the Himalayas or go to South America to the rainforest or go to New Zealand. Probably you're not going to be able to duplicate this. Well, I know you can't. I mean, it's just the coolest thing that these researchers who created this, they were at it for 40 years. And for 40 years, 100 studies, thousands of people, pretty much every diet out there never worked long term. But they didn't give up. They just finally came to the conclusion that everything that they were doing as far as traditional diets, look, they did paleo and keto and Mediterranean and water fasting and time-restricted eating and Jenny Craig and Weight Watchers and Nutrisystem and the Cornish diet and the Zone diet and lose weight for your blood type. But the key to the whole thing was it was really simple. It's amazing. They even said, we can't believe we didn't figure it out sooner. The only thing your body cares about, it doesn't know what a calorie is. It doesn't give a damn about a calorie, pardon my French. It only cares about the thing that allows us to be alive, and that's nutrition. So what we've done, we've faked out our body. For example, sugar, you have temporary energy, but it's not building muscle in your body. It's not detoxing your body. As a matter of fact, it's the reverse. It's doing things that are worse. And now we have things like, do you know that diet sodas, there's never been a study, not one ever, showing that drinking diet soda causes you to gain weight? As a matter of fact, most of the studies now are saying, be careful with diet sodas. Here's why. Because there's no sugar in it, but there's artificial sweeteners, which are 300 times sweeter than sugar. Now, let me give you all a lesson. When you drink or eat any food, your tongue measures sweetness and sends that signal to the brain. The brain calculates and says, when you drink a diet soda, it's 300 times sweeter than sugar. It just thinks you ate 10 pounds of sugar. Guess what your pancreas does? It secretes, your brain tells the pancreas, oh my God, we need insulin. Do you see how messed up this is? In these studies, the diabetics, their insulin came down 41% in a month, and they were monitored by their medical doctors. They had to cut their meds by 50% in 30 days. This is going to change the world. And you can do it if you want by going to, okay, who else? Wow, yes, can't wait. Okay, everybody's really excited. So for all of you, excuse me, what I want to suggest to all of you is you can go to the website, and Margie, if you wouldn't mind, because I don't know if Marco's still on, but if he's not, can you just type in the chat for me, Margie, because we got so many people that are commenting, the new health conversation. Can you do that for me? The new health conversation. Now, the reason I'm going to ask her to do that, and thanks for volunteering, by the way, is because that's the free medical website where you can all go. There's nothing to buy there. I've written 4 best-selling books. My books aren't there. Only thing there is the medical proof. And if you like what you see, this is no gimmicks. You can, once you look at the medical proof, you can scroll down and get a free coach. So Margie, I hope you're going to do that. I hope everybody will do that, actually. But Margie, can you type for me the new health conversation? If not, I can tell you all again. So it's the new N-E-W health, like health, H-E-L-T-H, conversation. No spaces. The new health conversation. Oh, there it goes. Margie did. Thank you. But everybody, hopefully you can see that. So Margie, what other questions or comments do you have? Let me show you one other thing, Margie. This Andy is a younger guy. Wait till you see this, everybody. 45 pounds, 60 inches in 30 days. And not only does his A1C go down 7.9 to 6.2, look at his bad cholesterol. It went from 120 to 59 in 30 days. These results no one's ever seen before. No one has ever seen these kind of results before. In these researchers, they've done 40 years of study, 100 studies, thousands of people. They measured, blood sugar, all these numbers. They've never seen numbers like this before. If you look at, it's just so exciting because, I guess this is the one that everybody really is intrigued by, that particular before and after, who's the daughter of a friend of mine. And that picture's 8 years old. She's maintained that weight loss for 8 years. So the key, Margie and everybody else, to understand is the main reason, well, there's a couple of big reasons to do it. First and foremost, detox your body. That's the number one thing. But in addition to that is maintenance, because part of maintenance is what? Continuing to assist your body in detoxing. But I didn't even tell all of you how simple how simple maintenance is. Maintenance, your breakfast every morning, these exotic foods around the world, you have 2 normal meals, and then maybe every couple months do a 48-hour intermittent nutritional fast. Once you get your goal, like that's where this girl right here, the woman, I keep saying girl, I mean to say woman, she's maintained it for 8 years now, by doing exactly what I'm saying. And it doesn't mean you can't ever have pizza again, or you can't have a beer, or you can't have French fries. No, that's not part of it. Because see, I'm going to teach you all something else. Right now, all of you, or almost all of you, I've been wanting to do a detox. Well, this is it. But you've got to understand, Margie, this is the only one that has peer-reviewed human trial medical studies. All those other things you're seeing where they're saying, oh, do a detox, there's not one shred of medical evidence. They're giving you hype. They don't have any proof. This has the proof. What makes this protocol so, why did Women's World choose to put this on the cover and effectively say right there in that, you can all read it, powerful new eating patterns can take off weight faster than anything else you've tried. That's them endorsing this because they saw the medical proof. The researcher, the article is just amazing. It's just, see if I can find it here real quick. I know I can't, hold on. Here's the full article. I think you all can probably see this. As a matter of fact, let me show you. Look at their before. Hold on if you can. This way. Look at their before pictures. Look at the mom. Look at the daughter. Are you kidding me? But that's why they did this, because there's no other diet with 10 or any peer-reviewed human trial studies that were done by the people who originated the protocol. The studies that are being done, like on the semaglutide, it wasn't done by semaglutide, it was done by the New England Journal of Medicine. And you got Medicare, listen, here's why calorie counting can't work for all of you. Here's the medical explanation. The biggest failing of the calories in, calories out formula is it ignores that the body adjusts its control system when calorie intake is reduced. So while the calories in, calories out formula can support people achieving weight loss initially, the reduction in energy intake ensures the lost weight will be regained and more. This is the medical explanation. Maybe you don't want to share this with me, everybody, but who's not on a diet where they're telling you to count calories? Who would that be? And when you look at the other evidence, this is so shocking. This study in the Journal of the American Medical Association, this one's really telling. It's 12 months. The title, let me read the title for you. Comparison of weight loss among named diet programs in overweight and obese adults. They looked at 48 random trials, including, listen to this, 7,286 individuals. And they looked at every kind of diet out there. They named them. Paleo, keto, Mediterranean, time-restricted eating, Cornish zone, Jenny Craig, Weight Watchers, etc. In 12 months, when they compared the most amount of weight loss on any diet to the least amount of weight loss in a year, you know what it was? 10 ounces. What are you all doing? Why are you doing it? Because that's the only thing you knew to do. It's not that you're not smart. What were your options? Well, you can't say today after this that you're not aware of something. Look at her. Look at that. 60 pounds in 3 months. Looks pretty good to me. Margie, yeah, this just came out. This came out today. It's on the newsstand, at least in the United States. Women's World. You can go and you can buy it. Okay? So, Latanya, sign me up, please. You can see, Latanya, right there above you. See, Latanya, give me a yes. The new health conversation. Do you see that, Latanya? Do you see it? Right above your name. You'll notice it says Margie Schiller, and then right above that under Margie, it says the new health conversation. So I want to make sure you see that, Latanya, because that's where you can go and see the medical proof. And also what we're talking about, because you weren't on, this magazine, the #1 women's magazine in the world, came out today endorsing this protocol, endorsing it. And the two women on the cover, I coached both of them. The daughter is 57 years old. She lost 50 pounds in 90 days, and the mom lost 91 pounds in 9 months, and they both kept it off now for 2 years. What do you think about that? Is not eating breakfast and lunch without binging bad? Well, you understand she ate 4 meals a day, 5 days a week, and 2 days a week she ate 8 times a day. So that doesn't work. I mean, what you're talking about there, the problem is that we need nutrition spread out over that's what the researchers proved. They proved that's why it's called protein pacing. So it was pacing the food, okay? It was pacing it over, like say 12 hours, basically. And even on the days when she was not eating regular food, you would call regular food, she was eating these exotic foods from around the world, those days she was eating 8 times a day. So she was having something every hour and a half. You all need to understand there's nothing like this on the planet. I mean, look, Kristen, look at this, everybody. 21 pounds, 38 inches in 30 days. So, Latanya, what would you think about that? Would you be excited to lose 20 pounds in a month with no exercise? Do you all get that? How? Naz. Okay, great. I'm glad somebody asked me. All right, I'm going to explain it to all of you. Now, first of all, oh, and I see, Margie, you spelled the new health. You forgot the, no, I guess, the S. It's conversation. So after the R, there's an S, Margie. So please retype it, the new health conversation. So Naz, here's what they did. The people who invented this don't have any products. They don't have a company. They don't sell anything. They're the top, they're ranked as the #1 nutritional weight loss researchers in the entire world. They invented this. And what they did was completely radical. They completely abandoned calorie counting. They'd done 40 years of research on calorie counting, 100 studies, thousands of people, and the one conclusion they came to that all these diets, in the long run, 2/3 of people ended up weighing more than when they started. We're not arguing that you could go on any diet you want, you're going to lose weight, but can you keep it off? That becomes the key. So what they did, they went back and looked at human survival. And what happens to all of us is that we all need a minimum amount, not of calories. Human body has no idea what a calorie is. We need a minimum amount of nutrition in order to run all our organs, our brain, our heart, our kidneys, our liver, etc. What happens on diets, think about it, you reduce the quantity of food you're consuming. Well, by definition, what else are you reducing? Nutrition. When that happens, your brain goes crazy, goes in starvation mode, prevents you from accessing the fuel in your fat cells, stops that altogether, and turns to your muscles for fuel. When that happens, it slows down your metabolism. That's why you plateau in these diets. That's why you've all gone on these diets and gained everything back, okay? But more importantly than that, when you lose lean muscle mass, which is the case on every diet, it slows down your metabolism. So the researchers said, wait a minute, we need to concentrate only on nutrition. Now, this is not supplements. They don't have any products. They did it with real food. They created a grocery list that she got, you would get. You'd take it to your grocery store, but only 30% of what you would consume would come from this list of proteins, fats, carbs, vegetables, and fruits. And instead of giving you calorie amounts, they gave serving sizes. You would get this. But that's 30% of what she consumed in a month. The other 70% came from these other researchers who'd found food sources for the last 20 years around the world that represented huge amounts of nutrition, but small amounts of food. And they found them in places like Russia, Mongolia, Tibet, South America, New Zealand. So 70% of what she consumed came from these exotic foods around the world. Okay, so that's part of it. But the other part was let's call it the recipe. That's a good way for people to think about it. So the ingredients, 30% from the grocery store, 70% from these exotic foods around the world, and then they created a recipe. So 5 days a week, you would have 4 meals a day. See, the skipping meals is just so detrimental to your health, it's crazy. So she started in the morning, her breakfast with these exotic foods. She had a lunch from the grocery store list. She had a dinner from the grocery store list, and she had a fourth meal, these exotic foods, at the end of her day. You got that? So 5 days a week, you'd have 4 meals a day. 2 days a week, she did something called intermittent nutritional fasting. Don't hear fasting. It's not fasting. It's not water fasting. It's not time restricted eating. On those days, no food from the grocery store, but only these exotic foods from around the world. But this time, they had her eating 8 times a day. 8 times. 8. She was eating about every hour and a half. Now, diabetics on this thrived. You'd think that it wouldn't work, but it was amazing. Because in a month's time, diabetics' insulin came down 41%. Never seen before in history. This is not a diet. It doesn't even work like that. Now, granted, you get all excited, but look at day 1, look at her stomach. And then look at day 30. That's without any exercise. They wore Fitbits to prove they weren't exercising. Not that the researchers were against exercise, of course not, but they wanted to make sure that exercise wasn't a factor, because otherwise they could have said, well, people lost weight because it was diet and exercise. No exercise whatsoever. The other thing that's so amazing is this. They've kept this picture is about 8 years old, and she's kept the weight off for 8 years. Some of these studies, which you can see actually on our website, I'll give that to you in just a moment. Some of the things that are so amazing is that they gain 6 to 9% lean muscle mass with no exercise. And we've got 10 peer-reviewed human trial studies that back all this up that you can see on the website. So Margie, could you type it again for me, the new health conversation? There's an S after the R, if you're still here, okay? So please put that in the chat for me. So for Naz, does that make sense to you? Do you have any questions about that? Because on the website, there's an interview with the #1 nutritional weight loss researcher, a physiologist in the world, and he goes over all of this, you know what they said? They'll never recommend any form of traditional diet again after 40 years of research. They said it would be unethical to their patients. And they're the #1 people in the world. So for him to say that, but they invented this and they have the medical proof. They've been chasing this for 40 years. He said we were chasing the silver bullet for weight loss, obesity, and health for 40 years, and now we've found it and we've published it in the biggest medical journals in the world. That's a really big deal. No other diet has anything even close, nothing like that. They'll say, oh, we got a scientific paper. That doesn't mean a damn thing. So you want to be, I don't understand, I guess I do, because the majority of what I see on social media is, with all due respect, medical doctors, chiropractors, dietitians, nutritionists, PhDs, weight loss people, fitness people, they're all telling you the same thing essentially, counting calories. And they don't have one shred of medical evidence, not one piece. And yet you're all following them because you're entrusting your health to opinions. This now, what they're doing is based on what? So Naz, do you understand to go to the, let me spell it out for you again. The new, N-E-W, health, H-A-L-T-H, conversation, no spaces. The new health conversation. So Naz, give me a yes. Does that make sense to you? And if you go, okay, and we will not contact you if you go to that website. Let me be clear. We don't do that. But if you like what you see, then you can scroll down and you get a free coach that'll answer any additional questions you might have. And they'll coach you the whole time for free. Free. There's no gimmicks. There's no tricks. They don't have anything to sell you. But they did it. Someone coached them. One of our biggest challenges right now, Naz, to be honest, is we only have so many coaches. We're okay right now, but fortunately what's happened is people are going on this and having such incredible results, and then their sister or brother or cousin or someone they work with wants to know what they did, and so a lot of them are volunteering to coach. So hopefully that'll continue, and if it does, we're going to be in good stead. So who else would like to ask me a question? I'm now at an hour and 20 minutes. I'm happy to, I'll stay, I'll answer whatever more questions. But we've been stuck at 1,600 likes now for quite a while. If any of you like this content, just tap on the screen on your iPhone or Android or Samsung, whatever you have. Let's get that up to at least a couple thousand before I sign off here. And probably, I might go another 10 minutes, maybe 15 minutes at the most, because I want to make sure that no one gets left out. If they want to know, how in the world did she do this? How's that even possible? So, oh, we're getting some love now. We're at 1,700 likes. Let's keep those taps coming to boost that number up to at least a couple thousand likes. Oh, there goes some more hearts. Thank you, thank you. RK joined. Hello, RK. Oh, RK is gone, I guess. But again, we're at 1,800. We're getting close. Let's keep tapping. Let's get to 2,000. So who else would like to ask me a question about any of this? And again, I think you can see that what's amazing about this is that's 35 pounds in 37 days, no exercise, but look at the body change in her body. I mean, do you all see that? Is that just not crazy good? I mean, it's like her whole body shrank. Where's the loose skin? There isn't any loose skin. Isn't that just remarkable? And then for some of you late comers on here, this came out today. This is Women's World. It's the #1 women's magazine in the world with a full-blown endorsement of this protocol. They don't sell it. There's nothing to buy. It's based on food. There's no products. Okay, so they're endorsing, in a sense, the outcomes. And they said over 50 protein miracle. And then you can read it right there. They said, powerful new eating pattern can take off weight faster than anything else you've tried. That's pretty good, isn't it? This has been around for 80 years. It's the #1 women's magazine in the world. You think you get on the cover of this, and then they did a 2-page spread on this? I mean, really? I mean, it's just, I'll show you the article. You all can go buy this. It's in your grocery stores. Yeah, I know it's in Barnes and Noble. Let me see if I can. Yeah, you can see the full article right there. Sorry. Now you can see it. And I think you can make out down there at the bottom. Well, you can all see that, hopefully. There you go. Look at what they did in their journey and how much they changed. But you all can, look, the thing about this is I don't have to convince you. When you're on the cover of this magazine, it's like, this is golden. I mean, it's like, are you kidding me? So where can you buy the plan? Naz, you don't buy the plan. Naz, you go to, Naz, I was trying to tell you, you go to the new health conversation. Can you write that down? When you go there, Naz, here's what happens. You get to see all the medical proof. Then if you like what you see, scroll down, you get a free coach, and they'll show you, well, you get a grocery list of what to buy at the grocery store, and they'll show you how to buy these exotic foods from around the world, and then they'll coach you for free, Naz. Free. The coaching is 100% free. The coaches don't have anything to sell you. But you have to understand, it's not just, well, the food, the ingredients are one thing, but obviously you need the recipe, and that's what as a matter of fact, they'll show you. I forgot to tell you all of this, I'm sorry. The researchers created this for the patients in the studies, called the Blueprint for Success. And Naz and everybody else, you'll also get this from the coaches. Each of the yellows is a daily or instructional video by the researchers who don't sell anything, but they wanted to make sure that the general public would have benefit of what they did, because what they did, how they did it, when they did it, what the amounts were, what the combinations were, that's what made it work. This is not just some like, oh, go buy this food. No. It'd be like you trying to make a meal. You say you want to make one of my favorites, like chicken parmesan. Okay, so you got the chicken and you got the breadcrumb, but if you don't have a recipe, what temperature, for how long, etc. So listen, you're going to get free coaching for free. So Naz, does that make sense? And the coaching is 100% free, Naz. All you're buying is food. You're buying food that they'll show you, and then they'll teach you how to consume that food in a totally different way. And again, it's the new health conversation. So Margie, I'm not sure if you're still here, but if you could type that in for me one last time, it would really make my life easier. The new health conversation. Put an S after the R. Unless you can see it up there, Naz, it just, Margie, she typed it, the new health conversation. There's an S after the R. Conversation with an S. Wow, we hit 2,000 likes. Thank you all very much. So Naz, does that make sense to you? I want to make sure. I don't want to leave this podcast with someone hanging if they're interested. But you've got to understand, we're not here to sell you. We're here to educate you. And you can go to that website. And we want you to see the medical proof first. It's free. And then if you like what you see, then talk to the coach and they'll show you what to order, how to order, and then they'll coach you the whole time for free. So Naz, you did see it, the new health conversation there, am I correct? And you know to go there, look at the medical proof, and then you get a free coach and they'll show everything to you. Am I good? Am I good? Does that make sense? I'm trying to support you. I want to make sure that if you really want to know more, you can go there. And we won't contact you. We don't have time to convince people. How? What are you using? Okay, Maria Smith. All right, I'm going to go over this one more time. So let's go to the first person. This is a little bit easier. Okay, so that's everything I'm showing you here come from 10 peer-reviewed human trial medical studies. That's not a diet, it's not about counting calories, and it's not about exercise. No one was allowed to exercise. She really did lose 21 pounds, 38 inches in just 30 days. Not a diet, not counting calories, okay? Effectively, this was invented by the top weight loss nutrition physiologists in the entire world, who for 40 years did 100 studies, thousands of people have figured this out. It's going to sound too simple at first. Dieting has nothing to do with counting calories. It never did. It's one of the biggest myths, lies we're being told. The only thing the body works on is, here's how it works. We have a minimum amount of nutrition that we need in order to run all the brain, the heart, the kidney, all our organs, right? When you go on a diet, what you're actually doing, you're reducing the amount of food you're consuming. And what else? You're reducing nutrition. When your brain senses there's not enough nutrition, so that's why you lose weight initially on these diets, because you still have excess fuel that you have. Once you're out of that fuel, now the body needs more fuel. Well, in starvation mode, the body will not access your fat cells, won't. But it goes after your muscles, slowing down your metabolism. That's why you plateau on all these diets. So in simple terms, the researchers said we need to figure out a new way to give people less food, but find foods. They looked for the foods with higher nutrition. So they put together a grocery list that she consumed, that you consume. 30% of what she consumed came from the grocery store for a month. Proteins, fats, carbs, vegetables, and fruits. But instead of giving her calorie amounts, they gave her serving sizes, because this was going to be based on nutrition. It wasn't based on the quantities. It was based on nutritional density. The other 70% of what she consumed actually came from food groups from around the world that no one sells you anything. You're buying directly from these suppliers, but they'd gone to Russia and Mongolia and Tibet, South America, New Zealand to find foods with huge amounts of nutrition, but small amounts of food from a quantity standpoint. Then what they did, they created 2 new ways of consuming the food. So 5 days a week, Maria, she actually had 4 meals a day. She started with these exotic foods around the world. That was breakfast. Lunch from the grocery store list that you would get, dinner from the grocery store, and a 4th meal, these exotic foods around the world for 5 days a week. 2 days a week, she did something called intermittent, don't let this throw you, listen to me carefully, intermittent nutritional fasting, not fasting, not water fasting, not time restricted eating. On those days, no food from the grocery store, but only these foods around the world. But this time they let her eat 8 times a day. I know this sounds really foreign to you, but look at the results. No one's ever seen results like this before. Because you see, the body needs nutrition, but it also needs it at very specific times, spread out, so that there are no drops or like insulin spikes, which didn't occur. As a matter of fact, the diabetics on this, they dropped their insulin 41% in the first month. People's hunger came down 41% in a month, and blood pressure, blood sugar, cholesterol, triglycerides all came down. Most women lost a whole dress size in 7 days, and no one was allowed to exercise in these studies. Did you hear me? No exercise at all. And the point is, the proof is right there. Look at that, 21 pounds, 38 inches in 30 days. She needed to lose 35 pounds. She went on in 7 weeks. Now, let me show you. This will floor you. This is the daughter of a friend of mine. It's not photoshopped. This woman lost 60 pounds in 3 months with no exercise. Look at her face, look at her arms, look at her stomach. How crazy is that, Maria? Would that excite you? I have no idea how much weight you want to lose. If you want to put it in there, I'll tell you realistically how long it will take you on this. It's not a diet. And the key to it, believe it or not, is maintenance, right? The maintenance, what I mean by maintenance is I lost 40 pounds in 7 weeks, 23 years ago. I've kept that weight off for 23 years. That's what you should be excited about. 30 pounds. Well, again, how about if you lost 20 of it in the first month? 30 pounds, easily, Maria, easily. 6, 7 weeks, easily. 6 or 7 weeks. How much was that? How much was that? Precious. I'm going to explain it to you in just a second. So Maria, are you clear on what to do and where to go to find out more? Go to the website, The New Health Conversation. As a matter of fact, if you don't mind, because you can do this, I can't write in the comments for some reason. So Maria, type it out for me, okay? The, T-H-E, New, N-E-W, Health Conversation. Can you type that out for me? Because I want to explain to Precious what did they do, but everybody needs to be able to go to the website in order to see the medical proof, get a free coach, and find out more for your own personal story. So Maria, can you do that for me? The New Health Conversation, no .com or anything, just no spaces. The New Health Conversation. Just type it in there right under your name. Okay, Precious, what did they do? I'm going to give you the short version. This is not a diet. It has nothing to do with counting calories. Precious, how much would you like to lose? Let's just start with that. But before I do that, I would like you to understand how they did what you're looking at right there. It wasn't a diet. It wasn't about counting calories. It was 100% a new concept where there's no products. There's nothing to take except for food. You'd get a list of 30% of the food you consume comes from the grocery store. Proteins, fats, carbs, vegetables, and fruits. But instead of giving you calorie amounts, they would give you serving sizes, okay? So anybody else here that can help? Oh, perfect, Maria. So Maria, do you understand you get to go there for free, look at the medical proof, and if you like what you see, scroll down and you get a free coach. Just give me a yes. Thank you so much for doing that. That's wonderful. So Precious, let me keep going. So the people that invented this, Precious, are considered the #1 weight loss nutrition physiologists in the entire world. They don't have any products. They don't have a company. They're scientists. And what they said was the reason diets fail is pretty simple. Because our body has a minimum amount of nutrition that we need. When you go on a diet, you're lowering the amount of food you're consuming. You're lowering the amount of nutrition, which then triggers your brain to go in starvation mode and forces your brain to use your muscles for fuel, which slows down your metabolism. I'm sure you've experienced this. You lost the weight and then you gained it all back. That's why. So what they did, they put food groups together, like I was explaining. 30% of what you would consume, you'd get a grocery list. You'd take it to the grocery store. Proteins, fats, carbs, vegetables, and fruits, and you'd have serving sizes of each one of those groups. That's 30% of what you'd consume in a month. The other 70% comes from these exotic foods from around the world that other researchers who'd gone to Russia, Mongolia, to Tibet and the Himalayas, South America, New Zealand, to find foods with huge amounts of nutrition, but small quantities of food. Then they created 2 new ways for her to consume food. 5 days a week, she had 4 meals a day. She started with these exotic foods around the world. That was breakfast, lunch from the grocery store list, dinner from the grocery store list, and a 4th meal, these exotic foods. You didn't mishear me. You're going to have 4 meals a day. Forget this nonsense of 1 meal a day, of this time-restricted eating. It's just nonsense. There's nothing to support that it works, okay? So 5 days a week, 4 meals a day. 2 days a week, you're going to do something called intermittent nutritional fasting, not water fasting, not time-restricted eating. On those days, no food from the grocery store, only these exotic foods around the world. But this time, you're going to eat 8 times a day. What? Yeah, you're going to be eating about every hour and a half. Well, does it work? Look at that. Look, that's with no exercise. She wasn't allowed. She wore a Fitbit to prove she wasn't exercising. Is that just unreal or what? And that's it. And by the way, if you go to the website, you can see it right there, Precious, at the bottom, the New Health Conversation. You go there, the medical proof is there. You can scroll down, you get a free coach, and they'll go over everything. Because we have kids as young as 2 doing this. We have a lady 91. We have people with no thyroids. We have a man with a heart transplant. We have people with no gallbladders. We have men and women with kidney transplants. So we're not treating, curing, diagnosing, to make any medical proclamations whatsoever. Everything we're stating for you, to you, is from these medical studies. Now, Precious, you probably weren't on when I talked about this. Just came out today in Women's World, the #1 women's magazine in the world, endorsing this. Not only did they say over 50 protein, but you can read, if I get my big fingers out of the way, powerful new eating pattern can take off weight faster than anything else you've tried. This is being endorsed. This is the #1. It's not an ad. They're endorsing it. This is incredible credibility. You understand it's safe. It's not some flim flam thing. It's not some new diet, because it's not a diet at all. Is that pretty impressive for everybody? Do you think? You think it's real? You don't get on the cover of that magazine if there's some scam, some flim flam thing. So we're very excited about being able to share all of this with all of you. Sweet Quest. Oh, it's the June 6th. Sorry. It came out today, June 6th. But you can see the title and the article, Over 50 Protein Miracle. Do you see that, Sweet Quest? Do you get the magazine, or you know about the magazine? But it should be on your newsstand today, because it's the June 6th issue. Pretty amazing. You mean because we're on the cover, or did you hear what I was just saying about how, look, they endorsed it. I mean, Sweet Quest, look at this. Wait till I show you. It's just, I coached those 2 women, by the way, Sweet Quest. Look at this, a 2 full page article on this new protein miracle diet. That's the magazine calling it. It's not us. They wrote the article. We didn't. We had no input on the article at all. Sweet Quest, it's so exciting because I'm so honored. My 2 women got on the cover based on the story of mother and daughter. The daughter's 57. She lost 50 pounds in 3 months. The mother, 80 years old, lost 91 pounds in 9 months. Together, they lost 140 pounds, and they've kept it off for 2 years. Wow. How cool is that, Sweet Quest? Thank you very much. You understand, I hope you know, if you know about this magazine, we don't have to do much more to talk about credibility. There's nothing, I mean, how would you get a bigger endorsement? This is the #1 women's magazine in the world saying miracle new. I mean, they're the ones using those terms. And it's backed by all of these medical studies that you can see on that website. You can see it right up above you there, Sweet Quest. Look above Margie Schiller, the New Health Conversation. It's free to go there, and we won't even contact you if you go there because we don't have time. Why should we have to convince you? The medical proof stands for itself. Or buy the magazine, Sweet Quest. I mean, it's a big deal. Sweet Quest, did you get a chance to hear me explain what it is, how they did it, what they're doing, why it's not a diet, why it's not about counting calories? I want to know, did you get an opportunity to hear me explain it? Because if not, I'll stay and I'll explain it to you. I'm just waiting for you to respond. If you just say yes or no, did you hear or not hear? Because I'm happy to. Yes, good. Okay, Sweet Quest. So Sweet Quest, I mean, for example, Sweet Quest, seriously, what do you think about that picture? That's the daughter of a friend of mine who's a realtor. That's the picture, like, is 8 years old, but is it the same woman? And if it is the same woman, is that incredible? I mean, look at her face. Look at her arms. Look at her body. I mean, so Sweet Quest, I'm just curious. Are you looking, how much weight would you like to lose? I'll give you an absolute realistic timeline of how quickly you can lose it. But the key to this, Sweet Quest, is maintenance. It's not a question, can we get the weight off you? That picture, she's kept the weight off now for 8 years. That picture's 8 years old. She's the daughter of a friend of mine. I know her. So, I mean, it's not like I'm making things up, right? Yeah, it's incredible. I agree. So, Sweet Quest, confirm for me above up there. Do you see the New Health Conversation? I want to make sure you know where you can go if you choose. Because we're not going to contact you if you go there. But we want to make sure everybody has access. This website, it's for the world. It's for everybody to see. Do you know, Sweet Quest, we have 1 billion people now worldwide that are clinically obese, not just overweight, 1 billion out of 8 billion. Does that sound like anything's working? So give me a yes, Sweet Quest, if you see the new health conversation up there above you, because that's where you'd want to go. Oh, I was amazed by the studies. Great. Great. Yeah, there's a whole bunch of them. So are you saying you already went to the website or you didn't go? I'm confused. You must have. If you're saying I was amazed by the studies, you must have gone to the website because they're just those yes. I mean, Sweet Quest, what do you even say about that? You saw the medical results. You saw, I mean, I got a list of them here. The muscle mass, the blood sugar, the insulin, the cholesterol, the LDL, triglycerides, hunger, all went down dramatically. And Sweet Quest, that was just 30 days. 30 days. I mean, come on. And the fact, I'm sure you picked up on that inflammation, the first time ever measured, came down 25% in 30 days. That's never happened. I mean, it's never happened. Crazy. And that obviously is a really, really important part of our lives to be healthier, longer, etc. Did you get a chance, Sweet Quest, to watch that interview with Dr. Arcio, 60 Minutes That'll Change Your Life? Did you get a chance to watch that? Because he's the one that invented it, not me. And what he said about they will never recommend any form of traditional diet ever again. Wow, we're at 2,700 likes. People must be liking the content as I'm about ready to close shop for the day. I did, yeah. It's almost too good to be true, isn't it, Sweet Quest, when you look at that and say, how is this even possible? How did someone figure this out? Well, thank goodness they did, because we got a global problem on our hands, right? So would anybody else like to ask me a question? Can we get just a few more taps? We're at 2,800. We can get to 3,000. It'll make my day. Please tap on your screens. Get me to 3,000, everybody. So, Sweet Quest, do you have any other questions for me? No, we'll go to your page and look for the interview. Oh, good. Yeah, it's on the website, by the way. It's right there. You scroll down, it says 60 Minutes That'll Change Your Life. And you know that's for the new health conversation. I know you already confirmed that you saw that. But it sounds like you're pretty curious or pretty knowledgeable or all of the above, because if you're impressed with the studies, that tells me right there that you understand that's what separates this from everything else, because no one else has. Because the studies that were done on diets weren't even done by the people that initiated the diets. This was initiated, the researchers who did this, it was their original research that got reviewed, and look what it ended up. I mean, they ended up on the cover of Women's World magazine. It's pretty incredible, right? So, wow, 3,100. You're all wonderful. Thank you all very, very much. So Sweet Quest, thanks for hanging in there. Margie, a lot of the people that have been on here today, I hope you all will, like Sweet Quest did, go to the website, look around. It's free. We're not going to contact you. And if you like what you see, get a free coach. So, Stormy, how do you lose 20 pounds a month? Yes, Dan introduced me. Wonderful. Dan, oh, fabulous. Okay, now it makes sense. So how do you lose 20 pounds in a month? Well, not on a diet, okay? So I'll explain it to you, Stormy. How much weight are you looking to lose? Let's just talk about that first, if you don't mind. And I'll give you a realistic explanation. But let's go to someone that did lose 20 pounds in a month. Let's go to Kristen. That's more 20 pounds left. Okay, cool. All right, look at her. So here's what they did, Stormy. It's not a diet. It's not about counting calories. And it was just featured today, brand new issue of Women's World magazine, the #1 women's magazine in the world. They endorsed it today, saying, if you can read it right there, can you read? Hold on, let me put it up there. Powerful. Can you read that? Powerful new eating pattern can take weight off faster than anything else you've tried. That's endorsed by Women's World magazine. So what did they do? The researchers said, forget calorie counting. We need to have a new approach because of this reason. The body only works, it doesn't know what calories are, it doesn't count calories, it doesn't give a damn about a calorie. The body needs a minimum amount of nutrition in order to run all the organs. When you go on a diet, this is why they fail. You reduce the amount of food you're consuming, you reduce the amount of nutrition, it triggers in the brain starvation mode, and it really breaks your muscles down for fuel, slowing down your metabolism. That's why you gain all the weight back on all these crazy diets. Well, in this case, what they did, they said, we need to create, can we find foods with large amounts of nutrition, but small quantities of food? And here's what they did. This is exactly how she did it. She got a grocery list. Only 30% of the food she consumed in a month came from a grocery list. She went to the grocery store, proteins, fats, carbs, vegetables, and fruits. But instead of giving her calorie counts, they gave her serving sizes. Got that part, right? 30% from the grocery store. But here was the magic sauce. These researchers who have no products, they don't sell anything, we don't sell anything, they found other researchers that had for 20 years gone around the world to find foods with huge amounts of nutrition, but small quantities of food in places like Russia, in Mongolia, in Tibet, in the Himalayas, South America, New Zealand. So now they had the food groups, and then they had to create how she consumed the food. 5 days a week, she had 4 meals a day. She had these exotic foods around the world. That was breakfast, no food from the grocery store. Lunch from the grocery store, dinner from the grocery store, and a 4th meal, these exotic foods around the world. So 5 days a week, 4 meals a day. That's called protein pacing. 2 days a week, now don't let this spin you out. She did something called intermittent nutritional fasting. Not fasting, not water fasting. She did simply this protocol where she ate only no foods from the grocery store, only these exotic foods. But this time she ate 8 times a day. So she was fasting with nutrition. I know it sounds a crazy concept. Well, in my case, look at the results. 5 pounds a week with no exercise. By the way, no one was allowed to exercise. They had to wear Fitbits to prove they didn't exercise. Is that unbelievable? Well, there's 100%, Michelle, there's 100% money back guarantee in the first 30 days. Is that good enough? It's not me. I don't sell you anything. So Michelle, right away, you already have that. 100% money back guarantee. If it doesn't work, you don't like it, you get all your money back, right? Oh, if you have a digital membership at the library, you can get Women's World. Great. So Michelle, does that make sense? So now, granted, you have to eat for a month. So whatever you're going to buy at the grocery store, they're not going to give you a refund. But the 70% you're going to spend, no questions asked, they'll give you all your money back in the first month. No kidding. No kidding. So, Stormy, does that make sense? Do you understand now? And Stormy, if you want to see the medical proof, you go to The New Health Conversation. The NEW Health, HALTH, Conversation. And you can get a free coach if you want to do it. The same thing with you, Michelle. Excuse me. First of all, Michelle, what claim am I making? Because you've got to understand that this is backed up by 10 peer-reviewed human trial medical studies. I don't know if maybe you didn't hear that part. So there's no me having to back up a claim. When you have peer-reviewed human trial medical studies, it's irrefutable medical proof. And like I told you, the suppliers will give you all your money back in the first month, 70% of what you're doing. But are you going to try and tell me you've ever done anything like that? Lose 5 pounds a week with no exercise, and you look at her body composition is pretty amazing. Does that make sense, Michelle? And you understand too, you can go to the website for free. The New Health Conversation is the key. Sweet Quest. I'm not quite sure who's saying what there. It doesn't matter. Wow, we're at 36. Wow, 3,600 likes now. That's really, really good. So Stormy, please comment. So do you understand how she lost 20 pounds, 21 pounds, 38 inches in a month? She wasn't on a diet. And you get free coaching, by the way, also, Michelle. It's free. And I'm not kidding you. There's no gimmicks. There's no tricks. I understand everybody should be skeptical, but when you got 10 peer-reviewed human trial studies, it's irrefutable evidence. Okay, well, I guess no one else wants to ask me any questions. Gosh, I've been almost 2 hours, no wonder. So, Stormy, did that make sense to you? Or maybe it didn't. But see, Sweet Quest, isn't it amazing? I mean, people, they don't believe anything like this even exists. and you went and did the research and you saw the studies and you saw the proof and you saw the, like I said, I'd go back and watch that interview with, his name is Dr. Paul Arciero, the number one weight loss researcher in the world. I mean, weight loss, nutrition and physiology in the world. Okay? All right, well, I'm going to end this tonight. Just to let everybody know, I do work on weekends. My first podcast tomorrow will probably be around 11:30 Eastern Standard Time, and then I try and do them every couple hours. On Sundays, I usually get started a little bit later, like around 2 o'clock Eastern Standard Time, in case you want to refer somebody's. Yeah, look, she's saying the studies are remarkable. Michelle, do you see what I'm saying? I don't know Sweet Quest. She just came on she got a coach and she's doing it and whatever, and so she's not trying to support me or et cetera. Michelle, don't you think you owe it to yourself to at least go take a look? And also, Michelle, do you think you really get on the cover of Women's World if you're making false claims? The number one women's magazine in the world? I mean, that's what I would tell you. I'm not making a claim, okay? I'm not. We have the medical proof, and if it doesn't work, you get all your money back. What? Well, not all of it, but 70%. You have to eat for a month. I mean, do you know that you could go the whole month and they still would give you all your money back? If it didn't work or you didn't like it? Show me anything else like that, Michelle. Show me anything else on the planet like that. And you get a free coach? Really? Sounds pretty good to me. So, all right, everybody, thank you all so much. You're all tempting me. 3,900 likes, just a few more taps, we get to 4,000. Come on, let those fingers do the working. So, Stormy, as you can see, you could lose 20 pounds in a month if you want, or go on a diet and lose a pound a week and take 20 weeks. That's what it boils down to. And you're doing weight loss in the most unhealthy way you could ever imagine. You're slowing down your they said in the studies, the Medicare said, 2/3 of people are gaining more weight than they lost on these crazy, stupid diets. Sweet Quest. We're at 4,000. Oh my gosh. Thank you all so much. That really makes me feel great. And Michelle, I hope you will take the time to go and take a look at the medical proof. It's not going to cost you anything. It's free, and we're not going to contact you. We won't contact you if you go there. And I understand your skepticism. It's cool. But you've never seen anything like this. And you show me anything else with 10 peer-reviewed human trial studies. It doesn't exist. And the cover of Women's World that came out today. So anyway, I'm going to say goodbye to everybody. Have a wonderful rest of your evening, afternoon, because we're going all over the country. I know it's the morning in Australia and New Zealand, and it's the middle of the night in the UK. And anyway, it's all good, everybody. Thank you.